Hello, my loves. Today I want to talk about transcending fear because this is a big one. When we are constantly holding a lot of fear in our energy fields, in our body, in our minds, it's really lowering our vibration and it's clouding our ability to make decisions from a space of soul alignment, from a space of our true desires, and it's keeping us stuck in a space where we can't move forward and we can't really enjoy and live in the present moment. So what happens when you're in fear? Oftentimes what we are fearful of is the future and fear of the unknowns, right? What's going to happen with my money? What's going to happen with my marriage? What's going to happen with my child? What's going to happen with my health, right? A lot of fears come from fear of the unknown of the future. So what happens when we're in that space is we are leaking energy into the future. We are leaking energy into situations that don't exist. We're creating a future reality that is not where we are here and right now. And 99.99999% of the time, those fears about our future reality don't actually happen, right? Look back on your life and think about things you were afraid of. For personal examples, I was afraid of never having a husband and having a family. I was really afraid of that in my 20s. Well, did that not happen? No, that happened. I was afraid of, I had a lot of money fears. Have I struggled with money at times? Yes. Have I gone bankrupt and wound up on the streets? No. So think about, fears of losing parents, fears of losing spouses, loved ones, fears about judgment, fears about how people will react to the changes you're making in your life, right? Remember, 99.99, however many % of the time, those things don't ever happen. They are false illusions of the future that we are creating within our own mind. So how do we get there? One, we may be reliving past traumas, or maybe we may be projecting past traumas into the future. So if we were judged or we were hurt in the past, we may be projecting that fear into the future. So it's a form of trauma response, right? We're living in this chronic heightened activation of the nervous system that is creating all this fear around the future. We may also be receiving fear from external sources, like the media, like the collective fears that are out there. Those are also one view of the reality of where we are right here and right now on the earth. There are many different views of that reality. There is an agenda behind what you see in the media, right? There's an agenda behind what you hear on the radio or wherever, right? So we have to learn how to unplug from all these fears in order to come back to right here, right now, right? This is like the teachings of Eckhart Tolle, which is the power of now. The power of coming right back. Where am I right now in this exact moment? Am I safe? Do I have enough money? Are my loved ones here? Whatever your fears are, take an inventory of right here, right now. And then I also would invite you to play another game, which is, and don't spend a lot of time in this, but ask yourself, what if the worst thing I can imagine happens? What if I go into complete financial ruin and I lose my house and I have to go stay with my mom, friend, whoever for a while? I have to file for bankruptcy. Would you not survive it? You would survive it, right? You can always rebuild your financial situation, right? What if you lose a loved one that's very close to you? Would you survive? You would survive it. You would make it through. You would learn new tools. And oftentimes, the hardest things that we experience in life are the things that make us most powerful. They're the things that teach us the greatest lessons in life. They're part of our soul map. They're part of our soul contracts. They're part of what we came here on earth to learn about. And so in some way, we chose these experiences ahead of time. And we chose to go through them because they are our greatest points of learning and our greatest points of ascension, our greatest points of transcending the ego, of expanding our consciousness, right? So when you feel these fears pop up, maybe little fears, right? Like Dental fear, fears of going to the dentist, right? I have fears around taking my daughter to the dentist. It's completely ridiculous, but they're in there because for me, it's a trauma response, right? And then I go and it's perfectly, absolutely fine. And I'm like, wow, I wasted a lot of energy on that. So, but it could be big fears too, right? It could be real realities that you're faced with that are fearful. The thing with fear is you've got to look right at it. You have to get intimate with your fears. The only way out of fear is through fear. The only way to transcend fear is to get into it and go, oh, well, that wasn't so scary after all, was it? Nothing really bad happened. There were challenges. I learned, I grew. If I have to experience that again, now I know so much better how to manage it, right? So get comfy and cozy with those fears. Don't let them take over, but ask what they're about when those fears come up. Okay, I feel this fear coming up. I feel it in my chest. Where do you feel it in your body? Journal on it. What is this connected to? Is this from a past experience? Is this just a false set of beliefs that my mind has created? Is this limitations around what I feel like I deserve? Where are these fears coming from? And so get intimate with those fears, play with them, become familiar with them, talk to them, journal on them. Play out the worst case scenarios, like I said before, right? Well, what if this happens? How would you get through it? And also, in the what if this happens game, how would you behave right now if you knew the future? If you knew what was going to happen, what would you do right now to enjoy what you have right now as much as you possibly can? Because by enjoying the present moment and releasing that fear, that's where you raise your vibration, and that's how you attract into your life what it is that you want and what you desire. That's how you start manifesting and co-creating what you want in your life. That's how you start to transcend the fear, by coming back to the present moment and really embracing what you have right here and right now. Finding gratitude in the little things, looking outside and seeing the sunshine, looking at the grass, feeling how amazing and magnificent your body is, right? So by things like tapping, EFT, EMDR, different somatic experiences are so powerful because they bring you back into the present moment in your body. So any of those techniques that resonate with you, you know, and a big piece of what also happens as you're going through your ascension process and you're becoming awake and aware to the reality of our world, and you're starting to unplug from the matrix, right? You're starting to realize that you have a lot more power and control over your life. You're starting to realize that the collective narrative or the collective agenda is not something you want to be a part of. You start to pull away. And that can feel scary because what you know as truth is changing. You're starting to understand about things like chemtrails. You're starting to gain an awareness about toxins in our food and our water supply. You're starting to gain an awareness around mandated medical procedures, right? That begin with a V. You guys know what I'm talking about. You're starting to gain an awareness around the chemical industry, right? You're starting to gain awareness of a lot of darkness. As you start to hold more light, as you start to transcend, you see the darkness more clearly. And that can be scary, right? We even have fears around this virus that's going around, right? But as you start to unplug and you start to see the truth, the thing to come back to is that you are a sovereign being and your vibration is the most important thing, and that is what you have the most control over. So if you can constantly work with yourself every day, every hour, every minute, every thought, not every single one, but one of those, in those increments at a time, start to work with yourself and recognize where you are emotionally, vibrationally. Where is fear making decisions for you? And start making your decisions, start living your life in the present moment from a space of grounded here and now. Rather than those leaking all that energy into the future, leaking all that energy into future things that odds are not even going to happen, are not even going to be a part of your reality. All right? So bring it back home. Always bring it back home. Present moment, ground into your body, get out of the logic and the rational and the thinking mind, get back into the feeling body. That's the key to transcending fear. So I hope this makes you feel a little less fearful, a little more empowered, and a little more excited that you can do this. You got this. You are on the right track. And I will keep this information coming for you guys. Sending you love.